Good morning. Welcome to another One Mind meditation. Our teacher for this week is Hafez. And I got a little piece to read to you this morning just before we get into quotes from Hafez himself. The thought for today's meditation is this: how do you see yourself? How do you view yourself? What is your view of yourself? Anthony, good morning. It's good to see you, man. Do you realize that what you see when you look at yourself is most likely to be a story that you were told over and over and over and over and over and over? You get my point, right? As an example, how do you even know what your name is? Somebody, good morning. Estelle, good morning. Happy to see you here. How do you even know what your name is? How did that process work in your mind to understand what your name is? It was repeated to you from all around you so much that you started believing that this is who you are. And if you so easily formed a belief about this word that happens to be your name, how do we know if anything that we believe about ourselves is true and not just a story that we were taught by the humans around us? After all, if a different name was repeated around you, you would have a completely different belief about who you are. You have to understand that how you were taught to see yourself was a reflection of the beliefs of the people around you and not a representation of actual truth. You will never rise above the view that you have of yourself. If you don't upgrade the way you see yourself, nothing changes. But to put it in a different way, if you change the way you see yourself, then everything changes. If the view that you have of yourself shifts, then you become a different person. So a few thoughts from Hafez. He says, love sometimes gets tired of speaking sweetly and wants to rip to shreds all of your erroneous notions of the truth that make you fight within yourself, dear one, and also with others, causing the world to weep on too many fine days. The beloved sometimes wants to do us a great favor, hold us upside down and shake all the nonsense out. I love Hafez's way of writing. All of the erroneous beliefs that you have within yourself, sometimes the beloved wants to shake it all out. He says, remember, for just 1 minute of the day, it would be best to try looking upon yourself more as God does, for she knows your true royal nature. Are we getting there? Are we getting closer to being able to see ourselves through the eyes of the divine? The last thought from Hafez says, I wish I could show you the astonishing light of your own being. When you change the way you see yourself, everything changes. Our journey today is to bring forward all the parts of ourselves, especially the parts we don't like so much, so that we can do the job to look at them through eyes of love, acceptance. And when we can look at the parts of ourselves, if we can look at the worst parts of ourselves and have love and acceptance for those, then the way we see ourselves surely has changed. Then we must be a step closer to seeing ourselves through the eyes of God, as Hafez suggests we try and do. Linda, very good morning. It's good to see you. Hey Leshna, good morning. Right, if you're ready, Here we go. You can close your eyes and let's slip away on today's journey together. Starting with the first few big breaths. Let's take a deep breath in and out. A deep breath in and out. A deep inhale and let it go. Deep breath in and out. One more big breath in and let it all flow away. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose gets drawn all the way deep down into your belly. And as you fill up your belly with air, feel yourself grow. Feel yourself expand out in all directions from your core outwards. And once you have a belly full of air, then again let all of it go. As you exhale, soften. As you breathe out, soften your spine, slump down your shoulders, and even drop your head. Today we are inviting those parts of ourselves that we might not like so much. We're inviting them to come and sit at our feet, like inner children being called by the first grade teacher. Come and sit at my feet. It's almost like it's story time. While you continue your own full body breathing, the examples we'll use today are sadness and anger and fear. And you might want to use different examples, and you are welcome to. There might be shame and guilt and jealousy. Whichever parts of yourself you'd like to work with, you're welcome to change and use your own examples. But for this guided meditation, the examples will be sadness and anger and fear. Invite them like inner children. to sit at your feet. They are invited to be listened to. Let them know that you are here to listen to them. And while you continue your own full body breathing, invite them to breathe right along with you. Ask these inner children if they'd like to also take deep, slow breaths with you. Perhaps your imagination will even allow you to form a picture of what these three inner children might look like as they sit and breathe along with you. And perhaps one of them feels a bit stubborn and says, "No, I don't want to breathe along with you." That is perfectly acceptable. Let that part of you know that you have acceptance and love for however it shows up. Do the last few big breaths of this phase together, helping our bodies stretch, adjust, and settle down into as much comfort as possible for the rest of our journey. And you can ask these inner children if they want to stretch out along with you. Let's take a deep breath in. As you release, drop your head all the way forward and roll out your neck muscles, going forward and to the left, and also forward and to the right. Take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders forward in big, slow circles. Take a deep breath in. And as you release, roll your shoulders backwards in big and slow circles. Take a deep breath in. As you release, focus on your spine. Dip your left shoulder down towards your left hip. And then your right shoulder down lower towards your right hip. Stretching into your back muscles, gently find the edges and softly lean into those edges. One more big breath in. And as you release, you can stretch or move or adjust any part of your body that still needs a bit of help settling down. Having softened our bodies into a state of presence, as much as we are able to at least, we can turn our attention inwards and dive deep inside for the next part of our journey. With every next inhale, we'll hold our breath for a few short moments, followed by a long and slow exhale. If you don't have the time to sit for the whole meditation with us, then this is a really good place to stop. If you are here for the whole journey, we'll take the next few big breaths together. Let's take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, make it a really long, really slow exhale. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, feel into your body. Feel how softness slowly settles into every muscle in your body. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, follow the downwards flow through your body. Feel your shoulders slowly falling, your body slowly softening, and feel how you are slowly slipping deeper into you. One more big breath in. And hold. And as you release, feel yourself melting. Feel your whole body dissolving. Feel how you are slipping into a deeper level of surrender with every slow exhale. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose is an invitation. It invites you to turn inwards and follow this journey. As you breathe in, feel the air flow in through your nostrils. Feel the air touch the back of your throat. Stay with your breath as it flows in through your lungs. And as you fill up the balloon inside your belly, feel yourself slip all the way in. Hold your breath. But hold it only for as long as it feels easy, followed by a really long, really slow exhale. With your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, remind yourself of these inner children you invited to sit at your feet. Remind them once again that we are here to listen to them. We would love to hear them speak. Take your next big breath. The first of our inner children that we'll listen to is sadness. And once again, perhaps you have different examples for today, and that is totally cool. Our examples for today will be sadness and anger and fear. We turn our attention first towards sadness. Ask sadness to speak to you. And as you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, remind yourself of how it is that sadness sometimes speaks within you. When you feel sad, what are the thoughts, the emotions? What are the words you say to yourself? Are they often the same? Do they repeat again and again every time you're feeling sad? Ask sadness to speak and make it clear that you will listen. Take your next big breath. I want you to ask sadness a question and be open towards the possibility that this inner child might answer your question. Could you ask a question and simply hold a space of curiosity? See if there's anything there. As you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, turn towards sadness and ask, sadness, when you feel so sad, what is it that you're afraid will happen? What is it that you're afraid will happen? Take your next big breath. Thank sadness for showing up and speaking and allowing us to listen. We'll shift our attention towards anger. And with your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, ask anger to speak. Let anger know that you want to listen. Remind yourself of how you feel, how you think. What are the words going around and around in your head when you feel angry? Ask anger to speak and make sure you listen. Take your next big breath. As you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, turn towards anger and ask this question. And hold yourself in a space of openness to listen whether anger has a response. Turn towards anger and say, anger, when you feel so angry, what is it that you really want for me? What is it that you really want for us? Take your next big breath. Thank anger for being brave enough to show up and speak. And then we'll turn our attention to the third inner child, fear. And with your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, ask fear to speak as clearly as possible. As you take a deep breath, as you dive deep inside, remind yourself of how fear speaks when you feel flooded with it. What are the thoughts that are on repeat? What are the words you keep repeating to yourself? How does your body feel when fear floods you? Take your next big breath. Then as you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, open yourself to the possibility of asking fear a question and realizing that there is a response from inside. Turn towards fear and say, "Fear, when you feel so scared, what is your deep desire for me? What is it that you really want for us?" Take your next big breath. Thank fear for showing up, for having the courage to speak and be heard. And as we take the last few big breaths of this phase together, arrange these inner children however they want to be arranged, or wherever you'd like to have them. Perhaps gather them all on your lap, or allow them to tell you where they'd like to be. Let's take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, make it a really long, really slow exhale. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, invite softness to come and settle in every part of your body. One more big breath in and hold. And as you release, feel yourself slip all the way through. There is no more attention on your breathing. You can sit all the way back, or you can lie all the way back down and feel yourself just floating. For all of us, our self is made up of different aspects. And this is only one way of trying to shine light on the different aspects that we all have by looking at sadness and anger and fear. Anytime we go on an inner journey to discover these aspects, to find out what these thought processes are, what these thinking patterns exist for. We always find that there is good intention. Even the worst parts of us, if we do the work with them, we find that there's always a good intention, trying somehow to help you cope or bring a better outcome. Can you understand that when sadness speaks, there's a fear of something happening? And when anger and fear speaks, there is a deep need for something better to happen from them. I always quote the words of Rainer Maria Rilke in this meditation because it hits so true. He wrote about our inner dragons. Just one more way of describing the different aspects of ourself. His conclusion about these dragons was that perhaps everything that scares us is just something that is afraid and in need of our love. The most important, the most useful part of this exercise is the ability to take a step back and look at different aspects of yourself without judgment, but an openness, and getting into a dialogue of listening. What happens with you? What is it that you step into when you take a step back and listen to sadness, and listen to anger, and listen to fear? Because in this moment you're not being sadness, you're not being anger, and you're not being fear. So who are you being when you take a step back and listen? This has to be the best part of you. And again, the labels are many. We could call it your higher self, your soul, the divine wisdom. The more you practice listening to the parts of you that hurt, the more you practice stepping into the being that you are. And then after listening, after becoming really good at listening, you develop the ability to speak with wisdom to these parts of you. You're able to say to sadness and anger and fear, I get you, I understand why, I thank you for what you're trying to do. I get the message, I get the warning. But now I will take the wheel. I will steer the ship. And you can put the hand of wisdom on the wheel. These inner children are always a part of the journey, but we can learn how to not have them behind the wheel. We have the last 5 breaths of gratitude to do together. With every exhale, I'll say my thank you, and I invite you to say yours. Let's take a deep breath in. Thank you for the presence of these inner children. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for your courage to allow your inner children to speak and be heard. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for you developing the ability to take a step back and listen. To develop your ability to be connected to what is bigger, deeper than these emotions. Practicing stepping into your soul. Take a deep breath in. Hafe has encouraged us to try and see ourselves the way God sees us. Thank you to you, taking a step back into your soul and looking at you through the eyes of the divine. One more big breath in. Thank you, beautiful people. Thank you for this beautiful journey of forming a completely new relationship with all of these different aspects of ourselves. Whatever you continue practicing, you become better with. Anything you practice, you become better with. If you practice listening to the parts of you that hurt, you become better at listening. You become better at stepping into your soul. But if you go to war with the parts of you you don't like, then you become better at fighting. You become better at judging and criticizing. And that inner war just gets hotter. Thank you, Anthony and Estelle. Jack, good morning, good evening actually. Thanks for popping in. Pat, good morning. It's so good to see you. Thank you, Sunmari and Linda and Leshna and whoever else might be in the background. Lots of love to you all. Have a beautiful day. Ciao, ciao.